In this episode, Casey and Isaac create a world of Eclair. This is your first time tuning in with us. You will be forever confused.
I'm sorry.
The world is not what we thought it was. Everything is on fire and made of eclairs.
Why? Okay, I was with you, and then you said eclairs, and you?
Yes, eclairs.
You mean?
Everything is made of eclairs. The very ground and soil we stand on, it's not even soil. It's an eclair, I'm telling you.
But you do realize eclairs are like soft and squishy, and they don't hold up to a pencil being put on them.
Yes. And so wherever you're walking, you're just sinking in this eclair of a ground. Like everywhere you go, you just kind of fall down and sink. It's kind of hard to keep your head above the water, or in this case, the cream filling.
What?
Cream filling of the eclair.
No,
you can't keep your head above it.
I'm assuming they're different flavored eclairs at least, right? We have variety?
No, this is just one massive eclair.
It's one giant eclair.
Like, that is the planet you live on. And also, there are some neighboring planets of also just bland eclairs.
Why bland? I don't think an eclair can be bland. Unless it's underfilling.
It's sugar flavored.
What? That's not an eclair.
It's just sugar flavored, and then the chocolatey part of it, that's sugar free.
No, that's mean.
Have you ever had sugar free chocolate? It's not fun. It is not a fun time, and that's about the most solid place on this entire land, except for when it's a hot day out, then it just sort of melts, and it's not any better.
I mean, it's a planet of an eclair. I'm sure the eclair is now as hard as stone, because eclairs can get that way. You leave an eclair out too long, it goes stale.
No, this is being kept fresh by the magic freshness of space.
Space keeps things fresh now?
Yes.
Is that actually like a scientific thing?
I don't know. This is the world of
I'm legitimately asking this. Can things...
Anyway, so everything I thought was a lie, it's all on fire, it's all burning because it's sitting in a toaster. This is the world. The eclair world is in a toaster. That's the other part of the universe that you're in. It's sitting in a toaster.
No, okay. No, you just told me that this eclair was in space, and that's why it doesn't go stale. Now you're telling me it's still not hardening, despite the fact it's inside a toaster.
Yes, I told you everything is a lie. Everything's on fire and made of eclairs. Nothing makes sense anymore. Also, it lays eggs.
You okay?
Casey, it lays eggs.
Are you okay?
In the toaster.
Are you okay? Has your My Little Pony content broken you? Have you had too many
just
ponies?
A bit.
Okay, I think I'm gonna recommend you lay off of the My Little Pony for a bit. Take a nap, maybe.
No.
Maybe eat an actual eclair. I think you're craving them, and the only way to stop
I have had actual eclairs. They are delicious, but these ones, no, these are terrifying eclairs because they're in a toaster, and you sink in them as you're walking around. It's just a giant eclair and a giant toaster. And the neighboring planets are other toasters with eclairs. I don't know why, but they exist. They're out there, and they're laying eggs.
Anyway.
I may be off my pills.
Goodness. So the eggs, they hatch into...
Goop!
Into what?
Goop!
Oh, I thought you said coop, like a chicken coop, and I was very confused that the eggs...
That too, but mostly goop.
It's
goop, and then the rotten ones, those are for some reason the ones that have the chickens in them. Those have the coops, and then they flock around and they fly up, and that's where people get their food other than the eclair sitting below their feet.
So they're little normal chicken eggs then at this eclair?
I mean, I wouldn't call them normal, but yeah, they're being laid by
nothing
an
in this
eclair,
world is
and
normal.
They hatch, and then the chicken coops, they fly up into the air, and then you can just sort of lean off the side of the eclair, grab them, and eat them. That's where you get your protein.
Uh-huh. Okay, what about the all-important fruits and vegetables?
You don't get fruits and vegetables when you live in a toaster with an eclair.
But I like fruits and vegetables, particularly fruits.
Well, then you should go to Churro Land, not Eclair Land.
Look, I'm still trying to. I'm with you with the eclairs. I'm with you with them laying eggs and the chickens thing. I'm struggling with them being in a toaster because I don't know no one puts eclairs in toasters.
Well, who said that this was done by any one particular person? I do. It was done by the god of the kitchen.
Okay, well, the guy of the kitchen needs to go back to culinary school because you don't put an eclair in a toaster.
Anyway, so this god of the kitchen, he's just creating little worlds all over his kitchen, and his favorite is absolutely the eclairs and the toaster. That's why he sits it on the middle of the island in the center of the kitchen. This island is surrounded by pirates. Yeah, pirates that will just sail around and sometimes raid the eclair toasters.
I have a quote. Can they please just be on banana floats?
Yeah, okay.
Please.
Okay, so they're on banana floats. These are their ships. They float around on the bananas, and then above them are the flying glass saucers.
Glass saucers?
Yes, like you put on a little teacup on.
Yeah, I know what a saucer is. You mean porcelain?
What?
Most saucers in porcelain.
I couldn't hear what you said.
Oh my goodness. Most saucers, oh, I want to say sauces. Saucers are porcelain, not glass.
Okay, so these flying saucers of some ambiguous material are flying above head over the toaster, and they are abducting the people of Eclairia.
Okay, was all of this just so you could name the world Eclairia?
No, I just came up with that.
Okay, I'm just making sure, because I sometimes feel like you have this weird, bizarre angle you're trying to get to when you're just trying to take the longest route to it possible, and I wasn't sure if that was the destination.
Not really. I mean, I just walked into Eclairia one day, and I placed my flag down it, and I named it, except the problem was the flag just kept on sinking, and so that's gone now. It's probably in the bottom of the toaster burning up.
Nice. So,
Anyways,
out of curiosity, Isaac, so you forgot to plan a topic for this week?
Plan a topic?
Yeah, is that why we're going off on Eclairia and toaster ovens and stuff? Did you forget to get a prompt and you were panicked in the last 5 minutes and just shouted something?
No, it's been 6 months since we did the Narwhal World.
Is it a 6-month anniversary of the Narwhal World? I don't keep track of
Yes,
things.
and so we're getting this nonsensical garbage and hogwash.
I'm glad someone's keeping track of our anniversaries, because... Woo!
I have been looking forward to this day for 6 months.
Yeah, no, literally, like, the week after Narwhal, he's like, can we do another one? And I'm like, no.
Yes.
No.
And then you're like, after 6 months, we can
you've had a counter on your phone, and you're just, like, staring at it like, we're almost there.
Yes.
Okay, continue. You've got permission for the Eclair world. You may continue.
Anyway, so yeah, I tried to lay claim to and name this Eclair world Eclairia, which I did successfully name it. I'm just not so sure if the name is legal since the flag sunk down in there. It's probably burnt up because it reached the bottom of the toaster. And the people of Eclairia, they really didn't care much because the flag was gone and they're too busy trying to keep their heads above the surface of the Eclair. Anyway, so I found out that these people, they live in houses. And these houses in the toaster are made from tennis balls. They are just walls of tennis balls.
How does Isaac?
And the roof is made of sheep.
Okay, Isaac. If the little flag you planted in the Eclair sank, a house of tennis balls and sheep would also sink. Yes?
And an Eclair is stuck inside a burning toaster would also be toasted, but that doesn't seem to be the case now, does it?
Yeah, but you gotta have a little bit of
So
logic.
this tennis ball wall, it just sits on top of there, and you got to be very careful. Do not bump these walls, or they just collapse, and the tennis balls they roll everywhere, and the sheep splatter on the ground. Of course, it's
How
an
is a
easy
tennis
soft
ball rolling
landing.
on an eclair? It just gets stuck.
So these sheep they just fall, and this landing is soft, but they fall head first, and they slowly start sinking and suffocating in the eclair.
This got
Where do these
morbid.
sheep come from? I don't know. This
Very
world
morbid.
is so bizarre. They probably hatch from eggs or something.
You mean with the chicken coops? And the
Yes. Yes, I'm sure that the chickens probably fly the sheep up into the air. It's probably what happens.
goop? That would be something I'd pay to see. Considering how weak of a flyer chickens are, you'd need like 30 of them to carry one sheep.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but everybody in this world, they carry around a magic mirror.
Okay, what's the magic mirror do?
I don't know. I don't own one. I did
Wow,
see this
that's
one
no,
guy-
Isaac. That's just lazy writing there.
However, I did see this one guy using it, and when he did, he got sucked into the mirror. The mirror then proceeded to sink down into the eclair, and the next thing I knew, it was raining cotton candy gumballs.
So it's a suicide mirror.
I don't know. I don't know if the person was turned into cotton candy gumballs, or if the gumballs were originally cotton candy gumballs that were taking a venture as a human. It could be either one. It may be both. I don't know. This world is weird.
I know.
Everything is a lie, and everything is on fire. By the way, the sheep will occasionally burst out into flames. Black flames and smoke. And they don't scream in pain, oddly enough, but they still die.
What? What? Isaac, what do you have against the sheep? Everything else is
It's
like
not
it could
me,
kind
that's
of.
the god of the kitchen.
Okay, what's the god of the kitchen have against sheep? He makes them roofs. He burns
Hold on, I
them.
have him on speed dial.
You do?
Hello? Yes, god of the kitchen. What exactly do you have against sheep? Mm-hmm. Alright.
Uh-huh.
Alright. He says that one time a sheep beat him at a game of bingo.
A bingo. Okay.
Yes, he lost a bingo match to a sheep.
Yeah, no, I hate all
Therefore,
old
all
women
sheep
because
must
of
pay for
that.
all
Yeah,
time.
no, I understand. I have a strong dislike to old ladies because they constantly beat me in bingo.
Are you entertained?
I'm something. I'm not sure entertain's the right word, though. Amused, or bemused, even.
Anywho. So then there is this minor flaw with the world. The rest of the world was great, but this minor flaw with
Well,
the
the
world.
world is all the world. The world is the flaw.
Yeah, so you know how birds flap their wings around to fly?
Yeah.
Well, this world has its own version of birds, and it's more. Imagine like two sticks crossed over each other, forming an X, and a little pin in the center of them. So it's like a little hinge where they open and close to like a straight formation.
Sounds like a butterfly.
And so essentially what these are is they're flying scissors.
Oh, I mean, my first thought
And
was
they
butterfly, but
They flap by opening and closing, and their beaks are basically blades. So yeah, they're essentially flying scissors running around that people are constantly having to duck and dodge from. It's very irritating, and especially when they go and they run into your tennis ball house when you're trying to take a nap, and the sheep fall on your head and push you into the eclair.
and then burst into flame just to add fuel to it.
I mean, they don't always burst into flames, but yeah. But oddly enough, I've only ever seen them burst into flames when the toaster is turned off.
Are you saying that these people, what they thought was a toaster is actually a freezer?
No, because when the toaster's on, the chocolate melts.
Uh,
The sugar-free chocolate.
Can that? Yeah, I guess that can still melt, but what do you have again? It's just really bitter, isn't it? Just sugar
Yeah,
free.
it's basically just bitter chocolate.
I mean, it could be sugar free, but it might have like other sweeteners in it. Substitute sweeteners. Yes.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you not like things like Splenda and stuff and things? They're not sugar. They're substitute sweeteners.
I was wondering if it was a thing in chocolate.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
It's a thing in
Anyway,
everything.
so what people do for entertainment in all this world? Okay, you see, what people do for entertainment is they play.
Bingo.
Well, no, that's what the god of the kitchen does.
Oh my bad. I mean, he has to play with someone.
They play the great game of marker board.
What is marker board?
They draw pictures to represent their sorrow and pain and suffering.
Uh-huh.
And then they take a guess. Which emotion am I feeling? So they draw their emotion through their pain and their suffering. They show it to the friend, and it's is this anguish, fear, dread, or hate? Usually it's all of the above.
No positive emotions? Is this just a place of
When you are constantly trying to swim your way or climb your way up on top of an eclair that you're always sinking in, and your house is made of tennis balls and sheep that burst into flames, yeah, you don't really feel anything positive.
I mean, you have to feel something else. You just enter your magic mirror.
I mean, that's probably why people enter their magic mirror.
Escape everything else. It's like
Yeah,
video
I mean, I was
games.
lucky enough to be wearing some tennis rackets on my feet to work as like shoes that allowed me to walk on top of the eclairs, no problem.
Mm.
And so I didn't really feel the
Why aren't they
dread or
doing
need
that?
to kill myself. What?
Why aren't the people there doing that? Why don't they? They have tennis
Well,
balls.
they don't have tennis rackets, duh.
But they have tennis balls.
They have tennis balls. Those are
You're
just
saying
like
you can't even play tennis?
yeah. There's like a limitless supply of tennis balls, but nobody seems to have tennis rackets.
Well, that's kind of. How about dogs? No, dogs sound like a bad idea.
All the dogs would die. They die of the plague.
There's a dog killing plague.
Yes. And I would tell you about it and how many dogs it's affecting everything, except the problem is there are no more dogs for it to affect.
Yeah, but you could still tell me about the history of the plague. I am all for a good history lesson.
Okay, so one day a
Mhm.
dog got sick,
Mhm.
and then he spread this sickness to the other dogs.
Mhm.
Then they all died.
Mhm.
The end.
Wow. And we're calling ourselves.
Absolutely riveting story.
Oh, Isaac, we're supposed to be world explorers, and you can't even make a plague sound interesting.
Dogs die. I don't know where else I'm supposed to go with
I
that.
was prepared for some gory details of how they die.
Okay, so Plague 2.0.
Awesome. Yeah.
When
yeah.
a dog contracts the plague,
Uh-huh.
the first sign is the eye begins to gouge out of its face, and eclair juice starts oozing everywhere.
Creep.
And then the other eye begins to boil. It boils and bubbles and explodes. The dog then runs around as its toes begin to fall off. And then its heart begins to expand and burst out of its chest. And worms start crawling up from inside the eclair, eating the somehow still living dog. And the snake then comes up, coils itself around the body, and brings it and drags it down into the underworld of the eclair, where it then gets burned up at the base of the toaster, and its ashes rise from the heat and flow away towards the god of the kitchen, who catches them and then puts them into his smoothie.
Yeah, no, that was a lot better. Thank you. No, I appreciated the details and the fact that I now know the god of the kitchen drinks smoothies made out of dog ashes.
Yeah, I gotta wonder how many people are clicking off because of that.
I honestly, Isaac, I think the moment you said the world is on fire and we're all on an eclair, we lost everyone.
That's probably the
There's
case.
like one person listening right
Anyway, so
now.
let me tell you about emus.
Oh no. Why'd you have to bring
Emus will
emus in
randomly
here?
storm into the kitchen and they will look down at the toaster, whether it's on or not, and they will start pecking. They start like pecking their heads into the toaster and eating the parts of the eclair, sometimes taking people with them. And it's very terrifying, and you can't outrun these guys. They're just so ridiculously fast, and your only
You
hope
don't out
is
no,
that the
Isaac,
ostriches come in and they chase away
Isaac.
the.
Isaac, the way you
Yes.
were describing it is that so imagine you are just minding your own business and then all of a sudden from above in the little gap there is between the toaster walls that surround your world, you see a giant bird eyeball peering down at you. And then you see the little bit of the beak. And then that beak comes charging down on you. This beak is bigger than your toaster that you live in. It's massive. It's like if, I don't even know, if Jupiter came crashing down on us. And it just picks out of a piece out of the toaster, and that piece had your entire extended family on it, and they're just gone, and you are the only survivor simply because you were off visiting a friend.
Well,
And then-
I mean,
and then
it
it
might peck
happens.
all over the eclair, so you might die no matter where you are.
Yeah. But but you made it sound like it was just a bunch of emus running along the eclair. No, the way you described it is the eclair the emus are the size of like the god of the kitchen who makes things.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's
That is
it's like
correct.
the sun coming crashing down. It's terrifying. It's the eye
Pretty
is the eye takes up the entire sky,
Yes.
and it peers
Anyway, so
down
your
and
only
judges you
hope-
when it needs you.
Your only hope is that the ostriches come in and chase the emus off.
Mm.
The,
That's very
the god
good.
of the kitchen, he doesn't care. He just lets the emus do whatever.
Wow, he's an emu lover. Took their side in the war.
Pretty much. Although this is a very one-sided war.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, so sometimes the god of the kitchen, he sees that the eclairs are being destroyed, and of course he doesn't want it to just be straight cream in there because the rest of the eclair was eaten up. So he'll go and he'll stuff more like eclair dough or whatever you use to make eclair mix or something down in the toaster to make the eclair whole again.
Yeah.
And the way he does it is by using a fork.
A fork. That
Yes.
sounds just as terrifying as the board. It's a giant
Yes.
fork. Like.
So on one hand, it's terrifying for you because there's a giant fork stabbing down into the world. On the other hand, it's terrifying for the god of the kitchen because he's sticking a fork in a toaster.
I didn't even think about that, to be honest. I mean, I'm sure he's smart enough to turn it off.
No, he's not. No, he's
So this
kinda
guy can make entire food-related planets with living people on it, but he's not smart enough to turn off a toaster before sticking a fork in it.
powerful. He's not smart.
He's not all-knowing.
Yeah, I mean, you
Then
give
again, he put an
you
eclair in
give
the
a 5-year-old
toaster.
$2 million.
Actually, you know.
You give a 5-year-old $2 million in Superman's superpowers. Is he gonna be any smarter than he was before? No. He's just gonna be way too powerful and way too dumb.
Yeah, I did just realize this is a man who put an eclair in a toaster in the first place, so you know.
And then somehow brought life upon it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Cool.
so you want to know about the neighboring kingdom of the gummy bears?
Sure, I love gummy bears. She says not. I don't actually like gummy bears. Don't give me gummy bears. I won't eat them.
So these gummy bears, they march around the kitchen counter because the counter is in the kitchen.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah.
Yes, and so you gotta get past all of the banana pirates to get to the counter where the gummy bears are living.
Mm-hmm. And in the center is the toaster with the eclairs in them.
On the island is where the toaster with the eclairs
okay,
are.
yeah.
There are multiple toasters with eclairs.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, so
Can't
you gotta
just
get
have
past the banana ships and the pirates to get to the gummy bears. But once you reach the gummy bears, you get to the gummy bear forest, and the trees are made of licorice. And this place is really sweet until the tigers show up.
Tiger.
Yeah, God of the Kitchen, is friends with tigers as well. And so the tigers come in and they start eating all of the gummy bears.
Uh-huh.
And these tigers, when they come in and they start eating the gummy bears, they don't just eat the gummy bears. They like them put on ice. And so they bring in these freeze rays that they got from Mr. Freeze, the Batman villain, and they start shooting tiny ice ray laser things at all the gummy bears, freezing them, and then run off them and crunch them.
Ew.
Also, the Lorax is not happy when they storm in and tear down all of the licorice trees.
Is that your inspiration for this entire thing, is Dr. Seuss?
No, although I'm surprised it's not. Speaking of Dr. Seuss, he exists in this world too. He's the second cousin twice removed of the uncle to the God of the Kitchen.
I'm sorry, Isaac, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat that for me?
No.
Wow! Can't blame me for trying.
Anyway, so this God of the Kitchen, every once in a while, he'll like to spring to life these tiny people who he sets them on this expedition to go off and save the people of Eclairs. He thinks that this will be great fun, just to watch them climb up the toaster and try to save these people, only to fall down and die in the Eclair with them. Anyway, so he'll place them in random parts of the world. Sometimes he'll place them on the flying saucer. Sometimes he'll have them start off chopped by the banana pirates, who are a bunch of peacocks. Tiny peacocks. They aren't full-size peacocks. These ones are tiny enough to fit on bananas.
Well, yeah, they have to fit in the banana floats. I mean...
And these peacocks have parrots on their shoulders.
It's... So you're saying it's a parroted peacock?
It's a peacock with a parrot.
So it's a parroted peacock.
A parroted peacock?
A parroted peacock?
I don't know. They have, they like to wear these, parrots on their shoulders because their own feathers apparently aren't colorful enough.
Wow. So,
Anywho,
if they have a party,
it's
then a partying parroted peacocks.
I guess so. I don't even know where I'm going with this world anymore.
I'm just along for the ride, as I usually am.
Anywho,
but...
so he likes to watch these people who are on the ships go off and try to save the people in Eclairs. So they'll have to sail their banana boats over to the licorice forest, grab some licorice, use it as a rope to scale the side of the toaster, only for the licorice to melt from him turning on the toaster, and then they fall to their death. Or they'll climb up, they'll manage to scale the toaster, and then they fall to their death in landing headfirst in the Eclair.
Honestly, that sounds like a pretty soft landing.
Yeah, but their heads go in and they sink.
Oh, and then they suffocate and die, yeah. This Eclair probably tastes more like blood than chocolate.
I mean, the coating is chocolate. The inside, yeah, the cream is probably very black.
Why can't we just make it blood-flavored cream? Just accept it.
Well, he doesn't want blood-flavored cream.
I mean,
That's
look,
disgusting.
yeah, but there's a lot of death, okay, in this world, and the Eclair just collects all the blood of its victims and makes its cream out of it. And you can't say that's too dark, because you have rubes of sheep that occasionally self-combust and die, and you just gave a wonderful description of a horrifying plague.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the most horrifying plague ever conceived.
I would certainly be scarred for life if my dog contracted it.
Yeah.
Especially considering it summons worms and snakes.
I will say, there is a wonderful afterlife.
Oh, good. Is it one where...
once all these people suffer their horrible, horrifying deaths, there is an afterlife.
Okay, what's the afterlife like?
So anyway, it's this stairway to heaven, and this stairway is an escalator.
Uh-huh.
Going backwards.
This does not sound pleasant to me.
And so you have to try and scale the escalator to get to heaven. Now, the thing about this is the escalator moves rather slowly.
Uh-huh.
However, the rule is the more weight that is put on it, the faster it starts to move backwards.
Okay.
Because it works on this like, weighted system where if people are standing on it, it pushes down more, and the entire thing starts spinning faster and faster.
Okay, yeah.
Now, sometimes, if you're lucky, you'll be able to not have many people dying. You'll be able to get up there. However, given this is a world filled with a ton of death, there's a lot of people sinking and dying in eclairs constantly and combusting, getting squished by,
Sheep. Tennis balls.
yeah, sheep, and falling off the edge into the snake-covered chicken egg land where they burn up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of death, and so this thing just keeps on spinning faster and faster the more people that die. And if it spins too fast and you reach the bottom of it, well, then you get dumped into hell.
Oh, grand.
Yeah, it's the underworld of this world, which is what?
Because this world isn't already an underworld.
Of course not. Anyway, so you get dumped into the underworld, which is the goldfish tank sitting in this man's basement.
Ew. That thing probably hasn't been cleaned for months.
It also has a bunch of fish in it. Dead fish.
I was about to say, are the fish even alive?
Yeah, he puts the fish in there. He just doesn't clean the tank, and he puts them in pretty regularly. But thing is, they also follow the rule of the underworld death thingy. So if you die in the underworld, you actually still go to the staircase. But the problem is, fish don't have legs, and they're pretty massive in comparison to the size of these people. So you'll be running up the staircase, and then very randomly, a giant fish, will just appear and start flopping its way down the staircase like a bowling ball, knocking everybody down it.
No, this is definitely bigger than a bowling ball. Let me give you perspective, okay? So it's like, so you know a goldfish, like you've seen it. Your point of view of a goldfish, right? You can imagine it. Now put it next to your eclair, right?
Yes.
The goldfish is about the size of the eclair.
It's a little bit smaller.
Isaac, it's about the size of the eclair.
Anyway, so it's
Isaac, this goldfish isn't this little thing flopping down, tripping people up. This is a literal planet coming down and crushing them. Proceed.
Anyway, so it crushes them and pushes them down into the goldfish tank. Now the thing about these fish is because they operate on this cycle of you die in the underworld, you still go to the staircase. They flop down, and they die in hell of fish tank land. But then that causes them to start flopping down again and again on repeat. And the fish tank just keeps on getting filled with more and more dead fish bodies.
Ew.
And it only stops when the god of the kitchen decides to clean out the fish tank, not of all the algae and stuff growing in there, but of just the dead fish bodies. Yep. There is at least a delay on this loop when the fish dies, so it's not a constant
planet crushing, planet-sized thing charging towards you.
Yeah, there is at least a delay on that. By about 10 minutes, and then they all start calming down again.
Agreed. Until they get cleaned out, of course.
So yeah, so when you die via the eclair, you have anywhere between 1 second and 10 minutes to climb up this staircase. So of course people are going to be pushing really hard and running as hard as they can to climb up the staircase. Problem is, the harder you run, the more pressure and force you're pushing down on the staircase, the faster it spins. Yep. And when you get a bunch of people doing this, it just goes too fast for them to handle.
Yeah.
There was this legend of this one man, though, who brought along a lasso to the afterlife and tied it around the escalator. Where he just swung it around and looped it around, because this escalator is just sort of floating in space. It's similar to like the one in Seoul,
Yeah,
Um,
that was what I pictured, except
yeah, so you
steeper.
loop it around, and so he tied it to there, and he just hung himself off the side of the escalator, waited for everything to slow down,
Uh-huh.
is so that he could start climbing again once everybody's finished dying and the fish have passed by.
Or
Now,
wait. Can't he just like hang on it and just do a full loop and eventually I'll bring him to the top? So you have all these people pushing it down and if you're underneath it, it's just pushing you up.
no, he's not attached to the bottom of it.
Oh.
He looped it around the whole thing.
Oh. So he just isn't going anywhere.
He just isn't going anywhere.
Oh, okay.
And so he decided to just hang there
Yeah.
and wait for everything to slow down. The problem is, once everything slowed down, he forgot a very crucial fact, and that is
The planet
he doesn't
crushing
lift
fish?
weights, and so he has no upper body strength to pull himself back up.
Oh, so he's just still dangling there to this day?
To this day, he's still just dangling there. He decided to tie the rope to his wrist so he doesn't fall into the endless abyss that is this afterlife.
Yeah.
And who knows what's down there? I'm gonna say it's an eternal fall. That, or you end up in a land of flying narwhals and cotton candy birds.
Which, you know, was a better world than this one, so just saying. At least there was some logic behind it. I could outplay you in that world. I don't even know what to do with this one.
Try and beat this world.
There's-
I challenge you.
Isaac, this is a world. Okay. So, honestly, the Eclair probably could actually hold up some significant weight considering how thick the breading of an Eclair is. So, it wouldn't really surprise me that they could walk on it being perfectly fine if we made a giant Eclair. Like, it's like an ant walking on an Eclair. They could do it. They're fine. They're ants on Eclairs. In fact, they'd be smaller by the way you make it sound because it's like a whole planet size. So, I'm not that part. You know what? It could be kind of believable. The god at the kitchen, definitely helps make this make more sense. It's just making food planets, and it's a weird hobby obsession of him. I like the idea of people being set on random quests to go rescue them and then failing miserably. As for people actually sinking down into the Eclair, honestly, it's probably really unrealistic if you lived on a giant Eclair that you'd sink down it. Now, getting stuck in the chocolate? Yes, that would be a pain. That would be awful. That would happen a lot. But, you know.
Eat your way out before the emu does it for you.
Yeah, the emus are... Honestly, I look forward to when we make this world make sense, which I guess will be next week's episode, so stay tuned for that, where we can actually build a proper world in which there are food planets and like people. It's pretty much what if people lived on the food you cooked, which is a little morbid, but still could be done. So next week we'll do that. This week we just talked about eclairs and emus, so you know.
I don't even know what's happened this week. My mind just went off the rails.
Well, you now hopefully are set for another 6 months.
Hopefully, but that gives me 6 months to come up with something else that's nonsensical. But a lot of this really was just made up off the top of my head.
Yeah, you have 6 months to come up with nothing. Have fun with that. But yeah.
So I guess
next week we'll make it make sense, like we did with the narwhal one. So stay tuned.
I didn't even tell you what heaven's like.
Honestly, I don't want to know. It sounds like the attic, and I don't want to. I don't want to know
Probably a
what's in
bunch
this.
of spiders crawling
Yeah,
around up there.
I don't want to know what this man's attic is like. That's my thoughts on heaven. So we're gonna end it there. Next week we'll make it make sense, and yeah, and then I guess the week after we'll do some cool Halloween special one, cause Halloween.
Was this not horrifying enough for you?
This was. I'm not horrified by this.
Not even the dog plague?
Surprisingly, no. Like, I feel like I should be horrified that you were able to come up with something like that, but I'm not shocked, I'm not surprised, I'm not horrified. I'm just, like, accepting it. Will it haunt my nightmares tonight? Honestly, probably not. I'll probably sleep perfectly fine. I'm not. If I had to witness that, like in a movie or TV show, oh, you better believe I would not be okay. But since you were just describing it to me, I'm fine.
Okay, so one of us will walk away being able to sleep at night. Got it.
Oh, what? Did you scare yourself, Isaac?
I am so terrified now. I need a blankie.
You did this to yourself. I do not pity you even remotely. Anyways, see you guys all next week. Bye!
I'm a crazy weirdo and I'm calling you. I've really got nothing better to do. I dial up your number and I let the phone ring, and 2 minutes later I'll be doing it again. You might think that I'm moving along, but you would be wrong. I got no life at all, and so I'll be making you a call. I'm a crazy weirdo and I'm calling you.
What did that have to do with the episode?
What?
It had nothing to do with the episode. I mean, other than admitting you're weird.
Well, I don't know any songs about Eclairs.